Hey there lads and ladies, it is Petrifying Pumpkins and you were about to watch another one of my Firewall 0 hour news updates. The last few weeks have been kind of crazy with all the new Firewall news, considering there was like complete silence for a few months after it was revealed. I feel like I'm making a new Firewall video every other day now, and we're still a week away from E3, so there's still more to come. So today's news update isn't a huge one, it's based just on one new article. However, there's a couple of things I felt were worth talking about, so let's jump right into it. Okay, so this article comes from uploadvr.com, which by the way is a great website to keep an eye on if you're a fan of VR in general. These guys are doing the Lord's work because we all know the big sites won't cover VR games unless it's something negative. Okay, anyway, back to the article, which is titled Taking Aim: How Firewall 0 Hour Plans to be VR's Next Great Shooter. So it's basically another interview with Adam Orth, who is the creative director on Firewall 0 Hour and is seemingly the face of First Contact Entertainment, the guys who are developing Firewall 0 Hour. So at this point I've covered a lot of Firewall hands-on preview articles and a few Adam Orth interviews, and so quite a lot of the article is kind of repetitive of things we've already heard already. The author talks about how great the aim controller is and that it gives PSVR an advantage over the Rift and Vive, because while those platforms do have gun controllers, they're all third party and support is kinda iffy on those platforms, whereas the aim is first party and is plug and play basically. That's one of the advantages of being in a closed platform like the PS4, but don't let the PC crowd hear you saying that too loudly. Anywho, he compares Firewall to Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon, and VR shooters like Onward and Pavlov, and says that Firewall is as grounded as those games. And it sounds like he's saying that Firewall is as good as Onward and Pavlov, even suggesting that it may be better because of the aim controller. But that's just the way I'm reading it, and I am definitely biased. So I'll put the link in the description for this article, so be sure to check that out and see for yourself what you think. Anyway, let's get to the most interesting part of the article in my opinion. So in one of my previous videos, I believe it was the first round of hands-on previews from around April time, I think, I remember reading an article where the author described the lobby part of the game, where all 8 players were and they could talk to each other. So it was like your team and the enemy team, and they could communicate with each other before the match. So let's take a look at this quote from Adam Orth from today's article. Every contractor has their own permanent ability, and then you can unlock another slot to add to that. So it feels like there is a really good amount of just in the lobby strategize, explained Orth. We've taken the other team out of the lobby and it's just you and your 3 partners, so you decide loadouts and contractors based on the map and the strategy you want to employ. A lot of shooters do this, but it just feels like when you're playing this game, the stakes of what you're doing feel a lot higher because of the immersion in VR. So right there, they've made a fairly big change since the April previews. They've removed the opposition team from the lobby area of the game, so now it'll just be you and your teammates. Now it does make sense why they've done this, so you can make plans and strats with your team without the enemy team listening in. In that way, you know, it's probably the right decision, but I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a part of me that will miss having the opportunity to throw some trash talk the enemy team's way before the match starts, because in my mind that in itself is a valid strategy. Strategizing with your team is probably more important, I guess. Okay, so that was pretty much the only big piece of new info I could glean from that article, but there is still one little thing I saw in this article that rattled my cage slightly. I'll throw it on the screen here for you to read. As E3 inches closer, this is the first time the game will be shown at the conference, meaning more eyeballs than ever are about to experience the shooter. They're still targeting a 2018 release date, which means this could very well end up being Sony's big PSVR game for the holiday season. New PSVR bundles are likely on the way as well, which could mean prime placement for Firewall on store shelves. Okay, so this guy, this author here, he clearly hasn't been watching my videos, or else he'd know that there's just no way in hell we're gonna have to wait as long as the holiday season for Firewall. The game was released weeks ago in Australia. Adam Orth has repeatedly stated that the game is practically finished. If you check his Twitter account in the last few weeks, you'll see that he seems to be putting in extra hard work lately, which is typical of a game right before its release. It's known as crunch time, and it can be like a brutal time for the developers, but it only happens in the last stage of development. And also, it is not uncommon for a PSVR title to get a release date announced only a month or two before it actually released. I mean, there has been PSVR titles I didn't know existed until they just got shat out onto the PS Store. We'll know for sure at E3 when the lads and girls at First Contact finally treat us to a release date, so don't worry too much about that remark from this author. But if it does turn out to be a holiday game somehow, then the silver lining is you'll probably get a bunch more Firewall speculation and analysis videos from me, which is probably almost as good as playing Firewall, I'd say. Oh, but that remark about the bundle also reminded me of some bonus news that I meant to make a video about ages ago but completely forgot. So a few weeks ago, a guy called Pedster9 on YouTube commented on one of my Firewall vids telling me about a Firewall 0 Hour and aim controller bundle being hinted at on Amazon. And sure enough, if you go to amazon.co.uk and search for Firewall 0 Hour, you'll get two relevant hits. One will be for the game itself, but the other is for Firewall and aim controller, which smells like a bundle. It's not confirmed, of course, but you'd imagine Amazon wouldn't have that on their site without cause. So those of you who are interested in Firewall and also don't have an aim controller already, you might want to keep your eyes peeled for this bundle. Maybe it'll be officially revealed at E3. Also, there's a decent chance that there'll be a PSVR bundle for Firewall like there was for Skyrim and GT Sport, because if GT Sport gets a PSVR bundle, then Firewall sure as fuck should get one too. I'm guessing we'll know more about that at E3. Okay, so that does it for today's video, lads and ladies. Thanks for watching. The channel is doing very good lately, so thank you for all your subs and comments and sharing my videos on places like Reddit. It makes it all worthwhile for me, and watching my channel grow is the only thing that gets me off anymore, you know? I mean, I've exhausted Pornhub. This is my new fetish. Please comment below if you want to chat about Firewall or just shoot the shit in general about PSVR and whatnot. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.